still reading Oils by Melanie Cambridge. She has a 30-minute challenge, keeping the painting set paint time of 30 minutes. Because then that way you focus on capturing the essence of a picture and not the details. And I want to rephrase that. You focus on capturing the essence of your study or your subject and not these nitty-gritty details. Page 40. So every painting here shown was done in 30 minutes or less. This first part is some more old painting techniques. Last time we talked about colors and tones, wet and wet. That's just blending colors. And so this one is about hard and soft edges. When two colors meet, an edge is formed between them. So edges are going to be where two colors meet. This is, the jargon, the language, speaking like an artist. So when two colors meet, an edge is formed between them. The type of edge can vary and falls into one of three categories. Okay, hold on. The type of edge can vary and falls into one of three categories. The first of these is a hard edge, such as the sharp profile of a building, where the colors are clearly separate with no blending where they meet. So the first is a hard edge, such as a sharp profile of a building, where the colors are clearly separate with no blending where they meet. The second is a much softer edge, such as clouds, where colors are gently blended together, where a less obvious overlapping of colors is appropriate. A less obvious overlapping of colors is appropriate. Smudging them together with your finger can be a good way to achieve this. So I'm gonna say that one more time. The second is a much softer edge, such as in clouds, where colors are generally blended together, where a less obvious overlapping of colors is appropriate. Smudging them together with your finger can be a good way to achieve this. The third type of edge is known as a lost edge, where colors are blended so softly that their edges disappear completely. This can be useful for depicting mirror-like reflections in water or on a wet beach. So I'm gonna say that one more time. The third type of edge is known as a lost edge, where colors are blended so softly that their edges disappear completely. This can be very useful to depicting mirror-like reflections in water or on a wet beach. Okay, then she gives an example for three types of edges. A hard edge, each color is clearly defined. A soft edge, the colors blend together where they meet to provide a gradual transition. And then a lost edge. The colors blend seamlessly into each other with no defined line between them. Hard edge, soft edge, lost edge. Now this is the one I'm actually excited to read about. Impasto. Hold on. Let me go back to this one because it's like trying to this is an actual, what I would kind of say, like, I didn't go to art I think I took like art in like middle school or something, right? But like this would actually be a thing, right? This is a task to just say, hey, identify the hard edge, soft edge, or lost edges within a picture, right? So it's like within here, where are the soft edges, where are the hard edges, where are the lost edges. Now she kind of gives you the thing right there. Let me see what she says. The highlights of the clouds were painted with hard edges. The highlights of the cloud were painted with hard edges, contrasting with the blue sky, while I used my finger to blend the gray undersides of the clouds into the sky below. But hard edge would be somewhere like the boat, a clear definition of like the boat from the rest of it. A soft edge, or actually, okay, the lost edge is like on the water, right? A lost edge is on the water. This is my opinion of how I kind of sort of, based off the information, kind of sort of I'm looking at here. Let me actually turn the camera so it would be a thing. Okay. I'm considering like this, right? That's a hard edge, like clear definition between whatchamacallit. I would say this right here, like in here, like from here to here, that's a soft, so like soft edge to like lost edge all up in here. If I'm just gonna clarify, it's like edges, right? I would say hard edge is gonna be here for the mountains. Hard edge, and this like from mountains to water, that's a soft edge. There's not a blending between it, but it's this. It's not this, it's not lost, but it's that. So like I would say there's a soft edge like between the mountains and the land and the water. I would say it's a soft edge here. And same thing like on this side, the land part and then the water part, that's a softer edge. But I would say like this is a hard edge, and I would say like the land right there is a clear hard edge. So there's clearly something that could be in here. And it's like, it's not the lost edge one, it's more along these two lines of either hard or soft. And looking at the distinction between the colors. The sky though is like the one where there's a lot of something. So she said she used her finger for the undersides and the hard edge. The highlights of the clouds are the hard edges. And so that's making it a clear distinction between the cloud and the sky. So that's the highlight of it. But then within the cloud, she says the dark side, underside of the cloud, is where she had a more softer edge. Okay. So now I'm gonna go to impasto. The technique in which paint is applied thickly straight from the tube without any added medium, and where the brushstrokes stand out as clearly, is known as impasto. I like saying the word impasto. It is generally used for highlights, such as sunlight catching the edge of a flower or building. Impasto marks tend to be less effective for shadows, so save them for the lightest and brightest areas in your paintings. They can also be applied with a painting knife rather than a brush. So she shows thickly applied impasto brush strokes were used to emphasize sunlight on the left side of the tree and the tops of the clouds. Okay, the next one is translucent and opaque colors. Okay, oil paints consist of powdered pigment blended with an oil binder. The translucency or opacity of each color varies according to the pigment. Symbols on each tube of paint provide this information. Translucent colors are ideal when you want to apply thin glazes, whereas opaque paints are better for covering large areas with solid color. Working with transparent color. In oil painting, thin glazes of dark colors tend to have more effect than dark colors applied heavily. I'll say that again. In oil painting, thin glazes of dark colors tend to have more effect than dark colors applied heavily. This is because the thin color enables light to pass through to the painting surface. Subtle differences in dark colors are more apparent when the paint has been applied in this way. The contrast between thinly applied darks and thickly applied highlights add interest to the painting surface and gives greater emphasis to the highlighted areas. I didn't understand that at all for some reason. Okay, now it's combining techniques. So far we have looked at basic painting for handling oil paint. Now let's put them together in one painting. And this garden scene help. In this garden scene, glazes of darker color help to emphasize the thick impasto of the flower heads, while soft blending is useful for creating the underlying foliage. This was built up. And then there's a piece for quick studies. Marking the basic composition with charcoal, paint the background tree with French ultramarine, Indian yellow, thinned with plenty of medium to produce a glazed effect. Let your brush strokes show to give the impression of foliage. Mix cobalt blue, lemon yellow, and little titanium white for the middle bushes, and use the edge of the flat brush to create a spiky feel. Next, paint the sky cobalt blue and titanium white. Add more titanium white towards the horizon to create a sense of recession. Okay. Use cobalt blue, burnt sienna, and titanium white for the clouds. With impasto, brush strokes of pure titanium white for the fluffy tops. Keep your colors dry with no medium added, and let your brush strokes stand out to give more movement to the clouds. Finish blocking in the greens. Finish blocking in the greens over the rest of the painting surface. Use the flat brush and a mix of lemon yellow and cobalt blue in the middle distance. For some reason, finish blocking in the greens over the rest of the painting. So finish blocking the greens over the rest of the painting surface. Use the flat brush and a mix of lemon yellow and cobalt blue in the middle distance, adding a warmer green of Indian yellow and cobalt blue for the foreground glasses. Oh, it's talking about the, okay, because they had the top of the foliage was painted. Now it's like the closer parts. Okay. Blocking in the greens over the rest of the painting surface. Use a flat brush and a mix of lemon yellow and cobalt blue in the middle distance. Add a warmer green of Indian yellow and cobalt blue for the foreground glasses. For the I just want to say that. It's supposed to say foreground grasses. The grass that's close. Grass is close to that's supposed to seem closer to the front of a picture. So, use a flat brush and a mix of lemon yellow and cobalt blue in the middle distance, adding a warmer green of Indian yellow and cobalt blue for the foreground grasses. Next, use a round brush with pure permanent rose, no medium, to paint the foreground flower heads, adding stems with raw umber. Use the round brush and a mix of cobalt blue, permanent rose, and titanium white for the flowers on the right, painting several lines of dots to give the impression of tall flower spikes. Oh, those right there. I was like, what am I looking at? Those. Use a round brush with a mix of cobalt blue, permanent rose, and titanium white for the flowers on the right, painting several lines of dots to the impression of tall flower spikes. Clusters of titanium white impasto are ideal for large flower heads. On the left, hand shrub. Finally, add centers to the red flowers using raw umber before blending lines of darker green to suggest the tall grasses in the foreground. So those are the steps to piecing together this painting from here to this, and finally here. And it's a 30-minute study combining techniques. Okay, the next one is quick studies.